Hi guys, welcome to another video for ArcoLinux. ArcoLinux project is all about ArcoLinux, and this year, like February, March this year, we've made it clear to you guys that in the end, right after 5 years of working on the project of ArcoLinux, in the end result is it's all ArcoLinux. ALCI, EndeavourOS, Garuda, and so on, Axel, Reborn OS, Archcraft, and Xerolinux, right? Xerolinux is here. In the end, if you come to the University of ArcoLinux, you learn about Arch. And whatever you choose to use afterwards, really is up to you, right? Because that's Linux, it's freedom. And in here we have many people who have jumped to the occasion that they say, let's make my own ISO. And that's what you learn on ArcoLinux B. First step is build it yourself, and then a little bit more complex, ArcoLinux ISO. And in here you see all these people who have made their own look, own vision. Yeah, there he is. Had to load a few YouTube videos I see. And one of those is Xerolinux. So if you go and have a look, let's see what happens if you type it. If you go type it, you get here an Arch-based Linux distro. So with all the knowledge provided on ALCI, there is more than ArcoLinux ISO, right? There is also Carly and ALCI, Ariser. It's a bunch of articles and a bunch of videos. And with those, you can make something like this. And at some point in time, make your own setup and donation and ask for support and so on, and become your own distro in an easy way. Well, it takes time and is a lot of learning, but you can do this too at some point in time, of course. Not necessary. It's a learning path that you could follow. So this video is about a new release from Xerolinux. So super, F7, I've downloaded already yet, so I need just to clone this thing. Xerolinux, voila. Yep, I thought as much that would be existing already somewhere. There he is, here he is. And then let's have a look, KDE Beta. So that was an ISO that you guys don't have, right? But this one is an official one, I'm thinking. Downloads, voila, the official one of September. So now we are October. So let's have a look. Now I'm looking at this differently, right? I'm not a user. So I press E or tab, depending on where you are. And then you have a look and you see what the lines are. So we're going to boot up the Linux kernel, right? VM Linux. And there is a cow space of 10 gigabyte. There is the driver that's free, no voice mode set 1, and so on. So all these little settings can be changed if you like. You see my arrow, this is the arrow to the left, you see this cursor move up, and you can actually change these things and boot up like that on the fly, right? Now, these are the options, right? So save graphics or BIOS, and I'm gonna go for BIOS, so it's not a UEFI setup now, doesn't really, well, it matters. BIOS is always nice color, but an UEFI is going to be black. So remember that. If it's colorful, it's BIOS. If it's black, it's probably going to be UEFI. And now we boot up. Yeah, we got this red bleed warning Spectre things recently in the new kernels that we get from Arch. Don't worry. But yeah, it is what it is, right? And then we boot up. And for those who don't know it, we are supposed to boot up in Plasma. But it's a Plasma, that's not your default Plasma. This is a strange thing. Right mouse click. Oh, it's not a menu at all. It is Latte dock, right? And the dock, right mouse click, if I can get it, voila, Latte. So cool. So we've got something different, right? A different approach of what will I use. There's a VMware resolution fix, update Arch mirror list if you think that's going to be not okay, and a QEMU resolution fix as well. And then we launch installer. I am on VirtualBox, I don't need any of those buttons there. Then we have next, American English. This is your default Calameres, right? Many Linux distributions use Calameres. And what's interesting for the ISO builders is that they have a look. So recently, let's see what the icon is. Here's the icon for Dolphin. I've made recently a video of a certain distribution. I could look it up, right? And the only thing I do is look at this. And it was a Debian thing, so it's going to be different than an Arch thing, obviously, right? So in here, I see my own names coming back, shell process before, shell process final. And these guys, the Debian guys, just renamed a lot of these things, but basically in modules, it's a shell process. And whatever your name you give it, and then you do something to it. What will I do after the installation, before the installation? And what modules will I use? So all of this thing, you need to investigate. How does somebody else use Calameres to get the operating system on the hard disk, SSD, and NVMe? So that's what we, developers of the ISO builders, as I call it, that's what we look into, because that's how we can learn how do other builders get things done. XFS, ButterFS, X4, so you can add more things. We have a lot more, well, 3 more I think. So RiserFS is not there, etc. So choices are not only here with Latte and a wallpaper and icons, but also in Calameres. You can say, don't do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's up to you, the maker, well, the distro builder, who decides what Calameres can do and how it looks, right? Because this is a dark one. How do you want it to look at it? And this menu can go to the left if you want, to the right, I mean, from left to right. We've done it in Kali, shown you that, well, that's also a good look. It's just a choice. I'm gonna go for X4 next, and then we get the full name. Just Eric will do, and log in Eric, and then Eric, of course. Password is shorter than 6 characters, but is it a problem? No, we can go ahead. And then we install everything. To see what's happening, click green button below. This is new at a certain point in time. We've asked the developers of Calameres, is there a possibility to get an insight in what's happening? Because with all these distributions, sometimes this gets stuck at some point in time. Maybe not here, because now we can see this. We used in the past there was no numbering, so it did not see the jumps, and that thing got stuck somewhere, right? But if you see, okay, it's busy, it's doing this, it's doing that, and then you can analyze, it's making rsync with all kind of codes. You can look it up, and it basically is gonna put bits and bytes from A to B. That's it, right? Here is temp Calameres. That's where it's going to temporary file. And that's the interesting bit, of course, that you can follow along. Where is he now and what is he doing? For an end user, I don't think that would be so interesting, except maybe if something fails or something hangs, that you at least see that's the last line of code that I saw, and then it's stuck, right? So normally we see this. For the rest, well, you can make decisions to put these little things in here, the net speed widget, if you want to know how fast you're downloading, and time is here. Configure better inline clock, set time format, a lot of things you can change, and the menu is up here. A power session, all of it, right? So this is a giveaway. Kate is one of the applications. Ocular is a Plasma application. So you just have a look what's available. There's even a fingerprint GUI for laptop when you go over the scanner. Cases guard is also a giveaway. This is Plasma, but somewhere there is this info button, or was it help? Maybe it's on help. Somewhere there is this content. Let's see where I can find the system. Maybe is this the PAMAC? I'm curious. Yes, right, PAMAC. Go on, be gone. In the meantime, we're making init ROM file systems, so you can follow along. Cups is there, VM tools, VM block, QEMU is there, system D, Bluetooth, FS trim trimmer. By default, ArcoLinux does not do it. It's just sudo systemctl fs trim timer. That's it. That's all you need to do. You decide whether you want it or not. It's just a line. So if you want to know, sudo systemctl enable fs trim timer. That's it. It's enabled. How do you know that? Well, surf to ArchWiki, probably fs trim or something, and you'll end up in the page. Here we're going for a grub install. You see, the issues of grub are like in the past, right? It should never have been released, but sometimes things go through the net from ArcoLinux, and so be it. So boot existing OS. Always think, guys, this is a free operating system. Linux is free, right? Things might slip through. All right. So we got ourselves. Wait for it. Oh, wait for it. Voila. We got here a system, an operating system, and updates that have to come in. So maybe we should update with a welcome screen and update the system. We can install more drivers, fix this, FAQ, etc. Install applications. You just go ahead and explore this. Hello, Xerolinux. Hello, right? Ctrl-T. I update my system. Not all aliases are exactly the same, but in this case it is, right? So once you visit another world, basically, because this is another ecosystem, but it's Arch, right? But it is different. What you need to do maybe is first have a look, what I do always, but who am I, right? Bash RC. What's in there? Bash RC. What's specific? Is there anything fun in here that I can use? Cat is bat, RG is bat grab, man is Batman. What's all that about, right? So you can have a look, and it's in a specific color. Or you type matrix, and so on and so on. So sometimes we grab a few things and we say, oh, that's nice, search, and then QS and remove R, but it's entirely personal, right? Do I want that? Do I want to use pget and so on? But it's interesting to see these lines anyway. Regardless how you name the alias, you can always add a bash rc personal to the system and say at the end of bash rc, go get me the bash rc personal, and override all these elements, right? If I say as an ssn there is something else, it's just sn, so be it, but then you have to tell at the end, go load up bash rc personal and put your own stuff there, so it never gets overwritten with a copy paste from Scala or something with updates. So have a look, see what's different, what's new, what's interesting, keep or change whatever you like. That's always Linux, do whatever you like. So we have here the grub, fix grub, we have to take a look. Maybe this has been created before the grub problems, or was it after the grub problems? Here we're updating things. We do have a problem here. Why is that? It's not a problem. He's executing something that's not for this system. This is not a UEFI. You just saw me bias these colorful things. So you shouldn't do this right now because, hey, there is no boot EFI because it's not there, right? It's just not there. So the machine says, no, you can do, there is no EFI. So that's okay. That's a benign problem. It's okay. Just a strange message now because, yeah, we're a model system. Let's reboot. And that's probably only me who sees it because of the issues with grub that we had in September. Voila, we're back. Now, in case you were wondering, and you say, Eric, this is not plasma. Yes, it is. And I had somebody ask me, can we have the default desktop? Super simple to have the default desktop. Where is the default? Where is the desktop better? Here. If I give this the name Eric, and I give the local also, don't forget for plasma, Eric, then there is suddenly no more configuration. When I do super X, is that possible? No, that's a key binding that does not exist. If I restart, I basically say restart an empty plasma. So let's see what happens, because that was a question somebody asked me. What happens if? We all have these what ifs, and it's fun. Do the what ifs in virtual machine. Voila. That's what I expected to see. It is plasma. It is Arch. And we have the system settings here. And at the heart are all the configurations, right? That are making up the Xerolinux distro. But in the end, in the back end, right, is still the same thing. Maybe a lion, apply of lion. How should I pronounce it? Lion. He's having some difficulties now. Oh, there he is. No problem. No difficulties. But he needs to change things. And icons and themes and all that. The only advice that I can give is log out. Log out? Really? Log out and log back in. So all the icons, sometimes an icon or two still stays the same. So log out, log back in, and let the machine take care of the last few icons that were not changed, or a theme or a color or something like that. Let it take its course by, well, rebooting, basically. In this case, log out, log in. It's not really rebooting, but if login doesn't work, well, log out, log in, reboot them, right? So this is your plasma, your default plasma, and console. Now we're on Xerolinux. Everything changed. Why? All the configurations are gone, right? All the configurations are gone. We're back to a default plasma look. And if you want it back, you guessed probably already what you should do. You just should rename it. Config out, config area becomes config, local out, and local area becomes local again. And that's it. Or, as we have been teaching you all this time, in etc scal, have a look. Oops, here it is, right? Bash RC. And so on and so on. All the themes here, the configuration, all the K stuff, console is here, and the K runner is here. All the settings for your plasma are here. So voila, this is your one thing I would like to do. I have another what if. What if can I install sudo pacman -s? Let's have a look first. What do we have? Extra, multilib, and then Xerolinux repo XL, and the NVIDIA repo. So with PAMAC you can see easily the context. So add remove software. If you want to know what's in there, have a look. Okay, so all these things are pre-built for you. It's just a sudo pacman -s away, right? Simple as that. XL is a little bigger, XL, like in clothing, XL. 134 megabyte, 212 megabyte. It's things that are big. Proton, GE, custom, bin, 1.1 gigabyte. So we both are building for, well, not hours, but, well, certainly 15 to 20 minutes maybe on this thing, depending on the power of your machine and so on. That's a big thing. Like VMware Workstation, almost 1 gig. And then NVIDIA repo, so for the guys who have older machines, NVIDIA 390, 390, 470, 470, 490, 470, and 470, voila, right? Have a look. Now I was wondering, the ArcoLinux tweak tool. Let's see what we get. Can I get that, right? No. ArcoLinux tweak tool is not available, but I do believe that was a button somewhere. It told me there is somewhere in a, maybe some application, install drivers, update, source form, install applications. Nah, I don't think so. Not here, I think. Let's not do that. Let's go back, post install system config. So there are a lot of things you can have a look at. Install HBlock, no, don't think either. There is somewhere an application, and you should ask him to get the ArcoLinux tweak tool in. I don't seem to have a system utilities, maybe. Nope. Maybe the things have changed. It's no longer in there. But what we could do to make the video a little bit longer as well is go back to, yeah, the work of ArcoLinux. So if we go for ArcoLinux, better, ArcoLinux Spices, let's see what we get. ArcoLinux Spices, ArcoLinux Spices, GitHub, ArcoLinux Spices, how to add 26 ArcoLinux Spices. Basically, guys, remember the default website, the information website on the first page. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Yep, I'm good. Scroll, scroll. ArcoLinux Spices application. Install our ArcoLinux packages on any ArcoLinux based distro. Download it here. Thingy. Download. Save. And what I want to do is add the repositories of, where is the open terminal? I want to add the repositories of sudo pacman, sorry, yeah, it's correct, of ArcoLinux. So I install a little application which does basically almost nothing. You can do it like this if you want to. A big button, boom. Okay, that's my password. Now you see what's happening if you're wondering what's happening to your system. Done. Update now. Update now. And suddenly I have more at my disposal. So sometimes we'll have packages that are on the repo from Xerolinux and on the repo of ArcoLinux. That may happen, but the difference is, well, if package A is not on Xerolinux and it is on ArcoLinux, it will just be downloaded from ArcoLinux. Right, so sudo pacman -s ArcoLinux tweak tool. Yeah, it's either the Git one or the dev one, the development one. So upload. I'm now getting the ArcoLinux tweak tool. Yeah, let's enter in style. I'm gonna install the desktop of Leftwm. Of course I am. ATT, relaunch it. We still have the geolib geocritical thing. Hey, whatever. And then desktop. Awesome. Yep. Leftwm. Let's see if that works. and you wait, retrieving packages, okay, and then up here, the message has to come, right? You can look what's happening here. Installing this. This is the bit will be installing. Has been installed. Cool. Means I'm out of here, right? And that's the fun. Just switching around and then say log out. That's the one. And then say, okay, Plasma is for, let's say, the bulk, right? And from time to time, I do want to learn about tiling window managers. Et voila, you have now your personal tiling window manager. That's going to work just fine. All right, but of course you have to think more. What do I mean by think more? You have config, you have Leftwm, and in here is the configuration. If it was BSPWM, if it was awesome, if it was i3, it would be exactly the same thing. Read everything. And one of the things that's not working is F12. I would miss it. So I know out of my heart that it's called XFCE4 terminal. That's all it's missing. If I install on Plasma an XFCE4 terminal, I have my F12. Simple as that. So Super F5, not working. Yes, it's working. Melt is installed. I don't need to do sudo pacman -s melt. Super F3 is Inkscape or GIMP, one of those. Super F4 is GIMP, I think. Super F2, Atom, not installed. Super F1, and so on. We have all kinds of key bindings, all nicely put together in here. And have a look. Install the stuff you're missing. So really is fun, this Linux, and this ArcoLinux. Once you grasp the possibilities, that's maybe let's get back to the end message, that in the end, whatever you start with, in the end, it's all ArcoLinux. So learn as much as you can from ArcoLinux and use it anywhere you like on an ArcoLinux based system. And it's up to you to choose, and often it's a very simple choice. Can I install that ISO on my hardware, and what issues do I encounter? And say you give up after a few tries, and okay, use what works. It's all the same. It's all Arch, and of course there are differences, right? But with the knowledge to maintain and to update and to remove your parts of your operating system, you're golden. You have a free operating system based on Arch. Get the knowledge wherever you can, right? Because Endeavor has also nice tutorials and articles, right? So use whatever you like, but yeah, stick to the ArcoLinux world actually, and you have so many choices to venture and to learn, and look at the configuration, look at the bash RC, look at the Calameres setup, and make your conclusions and decide for yourself. All right, enjoy Xerolinux. Cheers.